Oh, I'm absolutely going to explore all those avenues now, for sure. There's always, listen, that's why I came up to you today.
Have you ever spent big money on a coach?
If I were to, it would be with you.
But now we got a new guest, brother. Tell everybody your name, man.
My name's Adam Krasinski.
Adam. He's a large lost boss. Hey, buddy. No, you're not?
I mean, sort of, yeah.
I am? What makes you a large lost boss? What's a large lost boss?
I sell commercial roofs.
Okay, I sell commercial roofs. Nice. How do you get them?
Cold calling and door knocking.
Cold calling. Hell yes, dude. I went from a fake accent to a real one, like right here. Boom. I love that shit, dude. So talk to me about your approach. How do you find your customers?
Whenever I know it's a promising building, I get the means to the commercial owner's information, whether that's his phone number, email, whatever.
Do you physically look at the property?
Of course. Well, afterwards, yeah. Once I talk to him and he agrees.
Do you find the property? How do you find? Do you find it on the computer first, or do you go find it in a physical first?
I try with the computer first.
Okay,
online.
good. So he tells me a lot of the guys don't give you the actual information you need, and they beat around the bush. I don't know if you use Reonomy. Do you?
I do.
Okay, so if y'all want to go to this software that allows you to find the commercial cell phone number of any commercial property owner and build databases so that you can cold call commercial properties, go to www.reonomy.com/Lee. You can get a little discount and you can get signed up. But Reonomy is just the beginning. Just because you have the data doesn't mean that you'll use it.
Correct.
So, but tell them how you use the software to find the right customer.
Well, without finding the number, you're not going to be able to reach out to them. So
you pretty much, and that's really what it is. A lot of times they're listed, but you don't have good numbers. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So what's the biggest challenge or the hurdle or the biggest problem or time waste?
By far is invalid phone numbers or information. Oftentimes too, I'm sure as you know, Lee, even on Reonomy, it'll say the owner is Mike Smith and it ends up being Rob Lehman.
It's because Reonomy is based off an artificial intelligence engine that pulls information off the internet, and for the most part, it's accurate. But there's always inefficiencies. It is a very affordable data tool, but
worth every penny.
It's worth every penny. And most roofers, whenever they come across the first wrong number, what do you think they do?
They give up.
This shit doesn't fucking work.
Yeah. That's how I used to be.
It is?
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, until I learned a hard lesson, yeah.
How did you learn about Reonomy?
Honestly, I told you this. I would have learned it through you. I actually stumbled on it 2 weeks prior, but you are the reason I moved forward with it and actually gave it consideration.
You ever seen the videos where I cold call the commercial property owner in front of an audience?
Of course.
Oh, that's the magic trick.
Of course.
If I could pull out my phone right now and set a lead on 1,000-square apartment complex,
he'll do it.
I'll do it. I swear.
He's the man to do it.
And maybe we have to put I don't want to jinx myself here, but literally every single time that I go through the effort of teaching someone how to use this software, and then I make a few phone calls, if there is a good person in the audience that God wants to see that the process works, for some reason, I just get this beginner's luck, and it's not me. It's probably because
it is him.
People want to. What it is I really think there's a higher power that connects all of us, and he wants us to know sometimes it's not about it being a bigger job. All you have to do is find the right person and walk up to them. And since we have the awesome pitch of, hey, maybe your insurance company will pay to replace your commercial roof. What do commercial roofers? What does a business owner think when you give me your pitch? Ring, ring. Here we go. We'll put you on the spot.
Hey, is this Lee?
Yes, this is Lee.
Lee, how are you? My name's Adam Krasinski. I'm calling about your property over.
Listen, Adam.
Huh?
I'm all good. I don't need any services. Thank you for calling.
Sure, but I'm calling regarding your roof and a potential savings of upwards of $1 million.
Okay, listen. I've already got a roofer. You sound like a very polite man.
Well, so I'm a licensed public adjuster as well, a bit different from a roofer.
Oh, okay. How's that work?
So I would inspect your property to see if you have any weather-related damages, and if so, I could potentially get you approved for a full roof replacement paid for by your insurance.
Man. I have a roofer. I'll have him check my roof.
That's fine, Lee, but with all due respect, your roofer probably doesn't know what he's looking for in terms of storm damage.
Okay. So I don't know of any storms. There is no storms. I have no damage. There is no leaks. I have nothing.
So there was actually 3 storms in your area recently, and we've actually had success getting several commercial properties approved already. And that's actually the reason for my phone call today, is there is a possibility we'd be able to help you out as well.
Well, okay.
And of course, the inspections are free of charge. And once again, if we were to get you approved, we're talking potential cost savings upwards of several $100,000.
Okay. You send me an email. Send me an email, I'll call you back.
What's your email?
Lee at Skydiamonds.
And then is it all right if I follow up with you next week so we could schedule that roof inspection?
Yes.
All right, sure, thanks.
Boom. How often do they make you email and then you follow up and then you set the appointment?
It's 50-50. I don't like emails. I try to get them to say yes on the spot.
I do too, but sometimes you have to email them.
Correct.
Because they want to make sure that you're legit with the case studies.
100%.
And what do you send them?
Company info, local jobs we've done, how do you say it?
There's a real large lost boss back there trying to hide. His name's Kelly Simon. He's a beast. You might run into him on some multi-million-dollar projects. He'll put your job on roller skates faster than somebody at a damn skate club. But now,
so follow-ups is a big thing too. Like you said, not a lot of people say yeah right off the bat. So I always put in my calendar, follow up a week later, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, and it's consistency. Sometimes 10, 15 times you got to call these people or reach out to them, but it works.
Using your system, using Reonomy, how many appointments do you set an hour on average?
So my goal is 5 a day, but it's only commercial, obviously, once again.
5 a day?
Yes, is the goal.
If one man sets 5 appointments a day, how many of them are bullshit?
Probably. Well, what do you mean by bullshit?
Good question. Listen, we're going for insurance. Bullshit is no damage. Bullshit is not an owner. Like, could be like the front end person. Sometimes they say yes, but then they don't ever actually let you on the roof because they think their insurance company is going to drop and you can't convince them. I mean, that's not a bullshit lead, but I'd say bullshit would be ones that aren't damaged, ones that you can't get approved, ones that don't let you on the roof, ones that change their mind. What do you think?
It's a follow-up list. The only one out of the ones you name that you can't do anything about is no damage, but that's why you make a list for every single kind. If there's no damage on the roof, but the owner's interested, then you make a list that says follow back up or next storm check again or whatever the case may be. And then if it's a dead lead in terms of they change their mind or they say they're not interested, or even if you go check the roof, they have damage and then they still say no afterwards, that's where the sales has to kick in. That's where you just got to be pushy, which I actually, in part, learned to you.
No.
Sales is not obviously easy. You have to be pushy, no shit. That's why it pays what it does. But yeah.
No, I like the way you do it. You do it in a very polite, kind of chill,
very
direct way.
Correct. I don't like wasting people's time. I know I get a lot of shit for it too. A lot of people are like, oh, your sales are too generic, this, that. And I hate to say, but the proof is in the pudding. Whenever somebody asks that, I'm like, all right, well, I mean, I do sell a lot of commercial roofs, so clearly something's working. You know?
Okay, let's talk about that. Like, what kind of commercial roofs? How many commercial roofs? What'd you do last year?
So honestly, I can't give you an exact amount. It's weird. My boss, who I'm not going to name right now, the guy I work with, I don't even know what our total in gross or in sales is, but let's put it this way. Last calendar year, 2021, we did 28 commercial roofs, or I sold 28 commercial roofs.
Oh, guys, give this guy a round of applause, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. And have you got into any other methods of generating commercial leads?
Well, that's actually what I'm trying to look into right now, and that's why I listen to people like you, obviously, so I can try to go expand, go to the next realm, try to see what the next thing is. In my opinion, from what I've been learning recently, the only thing more, not even more efficient, but the only thing else we could possibly do that's more promising or that could get results like this is by automated marketing. But I'm not as big of a believer in that as I am as our voice or us calling ourselves.
Okay. Do you want my opinion?
Yeah.
All right. For one, that's sort of a right answer. Okay. But a simpler answer is direct mail. Commercial property owners respond to the right kind of direct mail, and they make your follow-up list better. And see, a sales letter is like selling in print. And one thing that roofers or contractors, they don't learn is we're all great salespeople in our own minds, but we don't always learn how to be great marketers. And so his pitch is a beautiful marketing. It's beautiful.
Keep in mind, you put me on the spot too. I was a little nervous. Normally it's a lot better.
Hey,
when I'm in the office alone calling, that's when it's.
I do an exercise with my salespeople to try and get them to close with as little words as possible. So being direct, straight right to the point to me is always better.
30 seconds or less. These guys are worth millions of dollars. You know that, Lee, better than I do. Well, half of these guys, I mean, you sold Grant Cardone for Christ's sake. I mean,
that was I mean, look, the only reason why is because I got the insurance to pay for it, because I was able to.
You sold them. And you were able to sell them.
And I gave them a lot of money, too.
You did.
But, the reality is that if you want the next thing, you go out there. This is the steps. This is a step-by-step way to generate commercial leads and have them coming in without having to do cold call. Step number one, you got to go and you got to use Reonomy to pull the data the right way. If you got, like, in Louisiana, we had a special campaign for all the metal roofs, and we had a special message for them. You can go through industrial or through warehouse and understand most of those are going to be kind of metal roofs. The reality is that the best way to find a commercial prospect that has damage may be sometimes to drive past it.
Correct.
And to drop a pin. So we use an app called Landglide. Landglide is a pretty cheap or free app where you can drive past the property, but that's the best messed up roof. A lot of times I'll open Landglide up and I'll put the satellite view on Landglide. So if I go past the convention center and I'm looking and I'm hunting because I'm in the path of storm, I'm in a hail swath where there was 2-inch hail, and then I look at a modified bitumen roof that has got patchy black spots where the granules, what does that say?
That you should probably try to sell that roof.
Yeah, because I don't chase roofs. I chase age. I chase the age. The motivated customer is going to be the one with the leaky old roof that you could potentially get approved.
Well, that's part of the sales as well. If you know the roof is real old, that's part of the sales pitch. Let's say their name is, Joe. Joe, well, with all due respect, your roof's about 25 years old. You're going to have to replace it out of pocket sooner or later. So why would you pay that several $100,000 if we could potentially get you that free of cost?
Amen. And so it's getting your pitch to direct mail that is going to be your next step. So a few different ways to do it. Number one, best way to do direct mail. Anyone guess? Best way to do direct mail for a commercial? Anybody want to get it? We're not giving away free drinks right now. They'll come back tomorrow. All right. Simple as this. Postcards, guys. Postcards are cheap as shit. And you can get more bang for your buck getting a huge impact, sending out 11,000, 12,000 at a time. And I would say it's like carpet bomb and smart bombs. The carpet bomb is the postcard. You got the list that you pull off of Reonomy. You've got warehouse stuff. You got multifamily stuff. You got all this stuff. You got postcards, maybe even individually designed for each type of commercial. Either way, the postcard has got to have a good, strong call to action beyond free inspection. Free inspection ain't good enough, guys. Thermal pictures of a thermal drone and moisture evaluation with a life expectancy, a repair program, and potential to get your roof approved by the insurance. You can beef up a free inspection. And we have a program we call Lifetime Roof Assurance. There's a lot of things you can do to make a simple free thermal roof scan, a thermal drone inspection. It's going to tell you how much moisture you have in your roof, the life expectancy of your roof, if your roof needs to be repaired. So we call it digital analysis. line item breakdown of best way to repair or replace the roof with multiple options. Most commercial property owners, they want that stuff anyways. And so if you give them that and you show them that value in the postcard that you do that, then you're gonna get even a better return. Next, I would say we have this campaign, it's called The Survey. And we send like this random gift, $2 bill. We have return postage inside of it. We have a bunch of questions, and we actually get the participation of the property owner to answer all these questions about their property. If they've had an inspection, what it is. They return it. And sometimes at the bottom they check, yes, I want a roof inspection. Sometimes they return it and it doesn't say that. And then we call them and we set up a roof inspection because they were gullible enough to respond and do it. And a lot of those end up being leads.
Which is all it takes sometimes.
Yeah, just gullibility. It's like all you're looking for. Who's coachable? Who's open to it? I'll tell y'all a story. I was in the Dallas-Fort Worth airport parking lot. A hailstorm happened in Denver, Colorado. I didn't have an office there. I didn't have a license there. I didn't have a company there. I had nothing. I was a storm chaser getting on an airplane with nothing. And I found a guy that had 10 commercial properties. I called him, and he said I could inspect the roofs, but it was how I could tell he didn't have a solution, how he would consider me. I knew he would actually give me a chance. So I went there, and I completed the reports for him. This is something that I believe is important to closing a commercial deal. You have to do what you say you're going to do and be very disciplined with your proposals and being quick with how you deliver them, because it shows that you're not just a bullshitter, you're an actual roof pro. And when I did that after cold calling, the guy was like, man, this guy might be the best guy to get the most money from my insurance company. Long story short, this guy was best friends with Scott Reonomy, and Scott's a great guy. And Scott rented an office from him, and he's got the biggest company in Denver, Interstate Roofing. Much respect to their company. He's an industry leader. He was on the cover of Roofing Contractor magazine. We're going to have him here as a podcast guest. But you know, the thing about Scott is that he thought this buddy of his that had been doing real estate deals was going to give him the job. Not no storm chaser that come from out of town that didn't have a license or a company. How's this guy going to take that job? Well, I took that job.
You sold him.
I sold him. I took that job. Okay. And, you know, it's like, how'd you do that, Lee? Well, you know.
Skill.
Yeah. More importantly, that guy, it's funny he says that because I had a cancellation fee that essentially, if he had properties that he wanted to tear down and he paid me a cancellation fee.
Oh, because you don't want to proceed forward.
But I did like 5 of the 10 roofs.
Okay.
And got cancellation fees on the rest.
Which is great.
And when I went to go collect my cancellation fees, he's writing me a big check. Guess what I did? I said, look, I got this apartment I want to buy. You owe me X, Y, Z. Can you just make that the amount of this apartment and I'll pay you back. I just really need you to be my bank because no bank will give me a loan for multifamily. And just like I've done this deal for you, I want to be a real estate investor. And anyways, I talked him into bankrolling my first apartment complex. It was a little 9-unit apartment deal, and he gave me the money. Now, he was protected because he was on the loan as the bank, and he made some money in the process. Later on, my company was at a weird point, and cash flow was in a bad situation, and literally, this was right before Hurricane Irma. Hurricane Irma hits, and I suddenly need about $300,000 to put out for tarping and for scaling, and I kind of was in a bad spot. I kind of backed myself into a corner. I wasn't as responsible with my insurance collections process. Didn't have my own in-house supplement team. I could sell, but I couldn't always collect as much as you sell. And so I cold called this guy, sold him 10 commercial deals, got him to buy me an apartment complex, and I got him to give me a straight cash hard money loan to go fund a fucking book of business that I've done $200 million in Florida from.
That's incredible.
It's all from one cold call. And
That's
I did
amazing.
it from the airport parking lot with no license and never doing any jobs in Denver. And that dude's still a friend of mine. And I teach people how to sell these large loss deals, the script, the software. But it's really, for you, if you came on board, bro, I would be perfecting your sales letters. I'd be
Correct.
working on your direct mail approach. And then now we get to the next point. You are special. You can do all the follow-up because you're disciplined. Guess what most salespeople aren't?
Discipline.
They don't have the follow-up. You need a machine. And so the automation portion of it is that you take the same list from Reonomy, okay? You hit them. Who in here has ever got a voicemail from me that sounded personal, and then you got like it? And
Probably
then
me.
You
Yeah.
like called and then like, did Lee just call me personally? No, I called my whole list. It's called a voicemail drop. You get a missed call on your phone, and then a voicemail. Okay, that's one way that we spam attack lists and get leads. Another way we spam attack. What's another way to spam attack people? Anybody got any ideas? How good ways to spam for commercial leads? Any got any spamming commercial leads ideas? Well, how about a text message? Okay, believe it or not, over cold calling, texting random commercial property owners, and I trick the shit out of them.
It feels personal.
They think that they're texting some person that's their insurance agent, something. They don't know.
Yep.
And it starts a conversation, and then I run with it, okay? And you know what I say in that? All's fair in love and war and getting your foot in the door. And that's the truth. Now, the automation is not as important as the outsourced callers. So he's one man. We have a whole team of salespeople calling our list. So we're voicemail dropping them. We're texting them. And we have outsourced telemarketers calling and setting appointments. But what are they doing?
VAs, right? Virtual assistants.
They're calling the list where we've sent direct mail. So if all of the lists that you called, you direct mailed first, how much more effective would your cold calls be?
I'm sure more. Yeah.
And every once in a while, you get the inbound lead that you didn't have to go out there and harvest. And so if you want to make your shit better, you've got the direct mail, the survey, but there's one other piece to it. We call this the commercial claims symposium. And I picked this up from the same guy that I was telling you about. He got a letter in the mail after I sold him the roofs, and he was like, Lee, man, I got invited to a VIP commercial dinner. They think they're gonna help me with my claim. I go, no, they're not. They're just a public adjuster trying to fuck you out of my deal. No, I'm going with you. Listen, I'll go and we'll go sell some roofs at this deal. And sure enough, these people send him a letter. You've been invited to a commercial claim symposium. Your property may be damaged by a storm. Bring your policy. We're gonna have attorneys, public adjusters, and contractors. We're gonna answer all your questions, provide you dinner. You've been hand-selected, chicken, steak, or lobster. So, I'm like, lobster, steak, baby. Make sure that you check one for me, Tom. We showed up there early, and I told the public adjuster, hey, I'm Lee, I'm a contractor. You know, I got a lot of commercial deals, and I want to hear about your deal, and maybe we can collaborate. He was like, oh, you're crashing my party. Oh, you. It's like, no, you're not allowed here, but okay, whatever. And he did his pitch, and afterwards, me and Tom worked the room, and I talked to people, and we got like 4 commercial deals out of his deal. And then I looked at the letter, and I made it better, and now I share the letter with everyone else.
Smart.
And you know what's funny? Ask me what percentage of my clients use it. Oh,
What
man.
percentage?
So many stuffs to do with my system. The challenge is that doesn't get used that often. Okay? That's the truth. Every time we do it, it works. We get rooms full of commercial property owners. We bring in an attorney to pay for all the food. We don't even buy the fucking food. Sometimes the attorney will help us with the marketing. We'll close 20 fucking commercial deals at one time.
Amazing.
And that's the difference between just cold call spamming, marketing, working the whole process. The next step is selling on video and selling through a funnel. Selling on video and selling on a funnel through commercial is tough.
That is your specialty.
Well, commercial is hard. So I make a lot of ads on social media for commercial. What do y'all think happens? Well,
Interaction.
listen. Most of the leads are not commercial. Most of the people respond like, I want the commercial roofer on my residential roof. And I'd say if we do a commercial Facebook campaign, 80% of the leads or 90% of the leads are residential. But there's that 10%. There's that 20%. And those do turn into deals. The other thing is for me on the internet, the best thing to sell for flat roofs is coatings. Because really I'm in the market for selling a repair or a solution that is half the price or way less the price of replacement. Maybe they have some opportunity to elongate their roof. You gotta understand, commercial property owners do not want to spend money on their roofs. It does not allow them to raise rent. So if you're the cheapest, best roofer that'll work for free and turn something out of nothing and fix their leak, oh, come on in, boy. You're my new best friend. I got me a new roofer here. He's going to fix my leak. He says he's going to charge me $500. I know the last 5 roofers charged me $5,000. Couldn't stop the motherfucker. But here we go. We got a good commercial lead. The idea is, how do you turn that commercial lead? How do you turn that repair, that person, that greedy guy who bought you, who really is greedy? He only wants you to do something for nothing. Mm. You go up there, you maybe find storm damage, you turn it into a claim. You go up there, you show them how the cost of repairs versus a restoration system, doing a coating, the energy efficiency savings, and what he's missing out on by just not ripping the Band-Aid off and fixing it right now. And maybe sometimes you offer financing solution. A lot of times these guys are rich. They do
or that gets you through the door.
Yeah.
A repair could potentially lead to another roof or that one down the line.
So for you, advanced commercial cold caller that wants to get better, you need sort of a claim funnel, like a public adjuster funnel. And the funnel is the ad that takes them from Facebook, but then they have to go to a landing page where they hear a little bit more about the company, see testimonials, and then they need to go into an automated follow-up system where they're nurtured with testimonials of other clients through YouTube links, letters, and after they've seen a video ad, gone to a funnel, had a few follow-ups with testimonial videos, and then you call, what happens now?
It's not guaranteed, but it's pretty much guaranteed.
Well, there's nothing that's guaranteed.
In life,
but what it is you're warming up your list.
Yeah.
And one of the things that people need to realize is many of you are not on my email list, but Facebook knows you watch my ads. So all I need is to know that you watch my shit. If you land on my shit, you're getting retargeted more. And let me tell you something. There's not one person in this room, there's not one person in this industry that spends more money advertising to contractors than me. There's also not one person in this industry that spends more money generating leads through social media than me. Not just because I do it for my own company, sometimes, $200,000 a month, but it's because I'm doing it for 50 other companies at the same time, using their money, learning from all the things that I'm getting from all these campaigns. So, the idea is Omar's done video. Every time he does it, he gets results. It sometimes is about consistency and just being disciplined. And just, guys, we get so busy making money in our normal habit.
We forget about,
You're so good at making 5 leads a day. Everything we say, it sounds good now, but how do you implement it?
What do you mean by that?
How do you implement everything I said right now?
Oh, I'm absolutely going to explore all those avenues now, for sure. There's always, listen, that's why I came up to you today.
Have you ever spent big money on a coach?
If I were to, it would be with you.
Okay, good. So there's a lot of sales. You're a sales, you work in a team, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have always focused on selling roofing owners products because roofing owners have more money, okay? But the National Roofing League is for everybody. It's for the roofing salespeople, the managers, and for the owners. And it's for you.
Yeah.
I want you to win big money. I had a $10,000 contest, 4th quarter sales challenge. Somebody won $10,000 cash. His name's Scott Edwards. I'm going to be giving away a lot of prizes, but it's a live leaderboard. We'll have commercial sales contests. We'll have total sales. More importantly, that automated follow-up system, you're going to get access to. It's called SDU Hub, the roofing automation software. You're going to get access to monthly coaching calls. You're going to get access to my full online university, and you're going to get access to the live leaderboard. And I'm going to guarantee I give away 6 figures in prizes this year. Omar saw me give away $10,000. And believe me, giving that money out just for the heck of it, I was like, what are you doing? Just giving away a chunk of... Look, here's what I was doing. I did it to make it real. Just so that every time I could come here, I could say when I'm doing a giveaway, that cash, cold, hard money came out of my bank account and went into the person who won it. And that's the motivational thing. is that I'm trying to make roofing sales fun, even for this guy, even if the owner of his company doesn't want to buy my training. But I believe for you that you could get everything that I give the owners in the National Roofing League. It's $2,000 for the year and $199 a month. Where's your visa?
My girlfriend has it.
Oh, come on, girlfriend. Oh, no. 28 commercial roofs and you don't have a credit card.
I
Sounds
do.
like me.
I thought it was 100 for you.
No, it sounds like me that my wife's got all the money and the credit cards and doesn't let me spend nothing without permission. No.
Smart wife, happy wife, or happy wife, happy life.
Hey, dude, incredible content, man. We had a good conversation here. Give this man a round of applause. We covered a lot of stuff about commercial. We talked about, the automation and the system. I didn't really explain to you how that worked, but
what about your system?
Well, that's a good question.
Can you explain it a little more?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to let Hansel come up here, the developer of the system.
It's a good idea.
And I'm going to have a little conversation about it. So thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Come on, Hansel. Come on up here for your public speaking debut. He's a web developer. He's been working on software for the year, but he's also part of our digital marketing team. Guys, give Mr. Hansel a round of applause. All right. So, Hansel, what was the problem that you came to our marketing department and our RCA and our systems that you needed to solve? What were the problems that we had?
The main issue we were trying to resolve was follow-up, for sure.
And we were getting too many leads and shit was falling through the cracks.
Yeah, when you start getting hundreds and not thousands of leads, not everyone's following with every lead. They're getting an abundance of them, so they automatically knock the door once, say the lead doesn't work, and they move on to the next idea.
The biggest problem with all the roofing softwares is that they don't connect to the marketing systems and they don't have automation and follow-up that associated with it. So if you can't connect Facebook and Google to your sales CRM and you can't track exactly where the inbound leads come from, how much the cost per appointment, how much the cost per sale, and then you have automated follow-up, and then you give someone access to follow up on that system from the inside through a software, all the leads kind of there's a problem because
100%. You got to know the day the actual lead came in, what source it came in from, the day it was created, because that allows you to know the first time you ever made contact with them. There's a lot of times where you'll have a lead come in today, right? And a year from now, that same lead came in again because you finally made an impression on that person who's been thinking about getting a roof. Well, if you understand that, you understand how to convert that particular individual. And the data at the end of the day is king. And a lot of roofers forget about the data because they're just thinking about the number and the volume, just knocking doors, knocking doors, knocking doors. So we tried to develop a system that would allow us to interpret the roofer's data in a way where they are making a more targeted sale versus just trying to cast the net,
Yeah, we for instance, got a $2 million roof that we had thrown in the trash and overlooked. It was a wasted lead.
According to a sales rep.
Has anyone ever wasted a $2 million roofing lead? Oh, man, I caught a lot of stuff on the internet. I know, Omar, you were probably like, but it's a true story, and I had to share it. And I had this, it came to me. I was passing this church. The church was right by my office. And the church was a lead we got. But my sales rep didn't close the lead, and we didn't end up doing it. Another roofing company did it. And this thing was right next to my office. And it's like, oh, we stole this $300,000 job from Leehaight, But here's the deal. If I would have had an automated follow-up system, that wouldn't have happened. And the irony, that was the church that I did that video, the ad. And I mean, it was a little backlash, but behind the story is definitely the truth that, times I've been desperate in my life, scaling all these different things, worrying about growing your company, always just worrying about things that are material. I've strayed in the past from the real reason why I'm on this earth, which is to be of service to you, which is to really help people build character, confidence, independence in this industry, but also to be an example. And I was lost. It was about, 5 years ago. I was in Fort Worth at church, and it was one of those times where, because I wasn't disciplined and I'd grown fast, my cash flow was kind of biting at my tail because insurance companies were slow. And I was in church, and I can remember, if you're in scaling and you're growing your business and you worry about where the monies are, where the bills are, how it's going to happen. If you just do the right thing, if you always focus on growth, and faith without works is dead. So as long as you do the work, the point is, I was sitting in church, I gave all my finances up to God, $1 million in debt. And, ever since that day, things have really turned around. The moral of the story is we had a bunch of Facebook leads that all the roofers did not want in Hurricane Ida because they were trailers and little houses. And we had an inside sales department that followed up on the leads.
Or they would assume they were trailers because they didn't drive past the trailer park to see the properties.
So when the leads went into the automated system and they got text messages and they got emails and they got phone calls from the customer service department, and we rehashed the leads that had been cast aside as dead leads by the salespeople, we found not only a bunch of deals that we closed, but one deal that ended up being a $2 million roof.
It was $3 million in deals altogether. Yeah.
And so kind of tying it back together, it's like that church that I lost, but I didn't lose it this time because I had a computer and automation to save me. And I had generated the lead through social media. And in the past, if I would have generated that lead, not only would I have lost out on the earned income, but I would have lost out on the money I spent on the lead. And if you're spending tons of money on leads, you want to maximize your return on investment on the lead. So how does SDU Hub do that?
So another way we also maximize the potential on the lead is the automated system automatically inputs and excludes people from your actual audience on the targets. So if someone's already started to communicate with you and the system understands that because they've communicated via SMS, email, whatever within the hub, then they can exclude them from your ads. That way you're not spending money on someone who's already talking to you. So every dollar you're spending is on a new person who has never seen you, unless you're trying to generate an impression ad. And then at that point, you're spending pennies on the impression, not dollars. So that's more of an educational funnel. So the system actually starts to determine and understand who is who, who's actually trying to convert, who do I need to educate, and who do I need to sell? Because some people just aren't ready to be sold, but they are going to convert.
And that's where, like in commercial, when he was talking about getting the leads, having a follow-up list, a lot of those commercial clients, it's going to take a while before they're comfortable enough with you to close or to do business with you, and they're going to need to see that follow-up and all that testimonial and stuff to truly buy in. So one thing about the software real quick, you can build your own websites like ClickFunnels for yourself. Calendly, you can control your own calendar. You can have text, email, phone call automation. It connects with a pipeline and literally.
You have job boards, you have SMS, you have email campaigns, drips. And it's not that we're integrating to these systems, we've actually recreated the systems. So that same membership or whatever the case is with the automation software covers everything. So it's not like you're having to have 17 different softwares duct taped together. You have one solution where you have one centralized database that you can simply say, who have I installed a roof on in the past 5 years that paid in cash, that is within 10 miles, who I'm still in talks with, and filter those contacts, and I'll send them a drip campaign for solar and send them voicemail drops or voicemail missed call drops, SMSs, and an email campaign, and add them to a particular ads on Facebook, Instagram, whatever the case is. These individuals are now coming in as inbound leads. So instead of you having to chase 200 people, you have 50 to 60 people every 2 hours getting a call from you, a message, or whatever the case is, around the same window of time. It creates that illusion that they need to call you now, right? Especially with the missed call. So dealing with an inbound call is a lot easier than having an outbound.
Yeah, so guys, you want to get a demo of the SDU Hub, reach out to Hansel. We're going to be doing a little bit more talking here, Hansel. I want to catch Omar before he gets out of here. Good work, buddy. Give Hansel a round of applause.
Thank you, guys.
Guys, I got a special guest. My man over here, good golly, oh Molly. This man right here has got a podcast that's gone viral on the internet. He's actually one of the leaders within our Skydiamonds Elite Mastermind in personal development and life and spirituality, but this man is arguably the greatest roofing salesman of all time. I say that because I met a lot of great roofing salesmen, and I would like to consider myself one of the greatest roofing salesmen of all time. This man's better than me, and we're gonna unpack why a little bit inside this episode here. The Blue Collar Boardroom. Welcome, my man. Who are we talking to here?
Omar. Actually, my name is Omar Sharif. I've taught Muhammad Alghali.
Okay.
So, but my moniker is my good golly, Miss Molly, it's Alghali. What's going on, Lee?
Okay, man. These guys want to know why you're the greatest roofer of all time.
I'm not the greatest roofer of all time. I just kind of work hard and I'm focused.
And the biggest thing about why I say that is his ability to handle volume. He can do, how many, with a small team, project managers and people inside your office, but how many individual house roofs can you touch with your own hands as the sales rep a year?
Well, easily about 300 or 400.
300 or 400. He's done 400 multiple years. Now, I've seen a lot of, give him a round of applause for that. Now, there's a lot of secrets to what he does. He has a system, he's got a team, and it's not just about Omar. But Omar, he runs a tight ship, and he's looking to scale big, but he's really found a good niche. What do you think the reasons why you're able to do so much?
Well, first and foremost, I mean, you call me the greatest roofer of all time, but when it's all said and done, I have faith in God, faith in Christ, period. That's where everything starts from. And so my success is really based on my faith in Him. The rest follows. So at the end of the day, I put in the work. I get out there. I'm excited every morning. I wake up excited. I say my prayers. I have devotional with myself, my family, my kids before they go to school, or sometimes in the evening. So I'm already spiritually centered. And because I'm already spiritually centered, the temporal takes care of itself. So all I got to do is basically get out in the field and meet the people.
We got a guy, Tyrone. He's like an evangelist, like my man here, Omar. He'll roll around and listen to gospel music. But when my mom gave him a strength finders test, Tyrone had optimism as a strength. I believe if we gave you that test, you would have optimism as a strength for you.
Well, I call mine eternal optimism.
There you go.
So I'm always eternally optimistic. I've got a cheery personality. I'm rarely down. I'm always up. And so my wife sometimes has to cool me down because she's a little bit opposite. You know, she went through a civil war in her homeland of Liberia. So she's more serious-minded.
Oh, my God. Let me tell you the story. He bought my program and did not tell his wife. And so I showed up at his office, okay? And this is not a joke. And you weren't even there.
Nah.
He just threw me to the wolves, man.
He took care of it.
So his wife, you know, I come in there and she's like, okay, now what is this we get? What are you selling? And she just sat me down and looked at me like, oh man, it's just like her eyes went through my soul. I was like, oh my God, I hope I pass this test.
Well, she's result oriented. So at the end of the day, she wanted to make sure that it was, I mean, the investment was a great investment. And, but she wanted to make sure that it was going to produce.
Amen. And, you know, the biggest thing, leads and salespeople and scaling systems, you know, one of the things that I've really, like, at first, Omar creating video on social media because most of his deals are door-to-door and word-of-mouth. You didn't think that was going to be that. What did you think at first?
Well, I knew at first, you know, I knew it was going to work because that's the new age. That's the way to go. I'm more on the traditional side, you know, get out in the field and meet the people. You can definitely stay in the office all day long and do all these other things, but you got to get out in the field. And this is basically a supplemental to what we're already doing in the field. So as an owner, I could sit in my office all day long and send my sales guys out to go work, but I truly like to go out to work with them. I like to get on the roofs with them. I like to get in the homes with them. And then, of course, hiring the key people in the office helps. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm getting to now. Mm-hmm. You know, my boy, those two guys right there, Chris and Will, and Jacob are coming in to help out.
Nice.
And so, you know, Jacob's going to pretty much take over solar.
Nice.
Because he's already come from a solar background.
That's great.
And so, but just getting the needed help. And
nice.
So I knew it was going to work because I was not going to put my money into it if it wasn't going to work.
No, and see, he's been able to hire salespeople in the program, generate leads, but it's getting these leaders established in some of these key roles that's going to give him this $10 million book of business that runs on his own. He's already got production and office management. It's really about sales management and getting committed to executing of the systems all the time. Even though he's able to sell and do all the things, sometimes if if you're really going hard in this direction, something over here falls down.
Always.
God almighty. And it's hard because, no one can sell as good as you. So when you take time to help others, you lose money sometimes. Is that hard for you?
I mean, the Lord works it all out because at the end of the day, I still help the people. And then I still get my business done.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't really matter. One of the coolest things about Omar is he does it in a market where he doesn't ever have to leave. And me and my wife were married for a long time. We moved 16 different times. One day she put her foot in the sand. She said, I ain't doing this no more, dude. I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it. And I had to have a come to Jesus moment where it's time to become a storm catcher, not a storm chaser. And so how do you do that?
Well, I've never been a storm chaser either. I like being home. I like to sleep in my own bed. And it's just a hassle, moving to a different state, trying to house guys, not eating healthy. And so living in the Houston market, it's easy. I mean, we're not Dallas. I guess the big hailstorms out here. But Houston, my boy over there, Justin, he knows the Houston market is great. It's easy for us. So, I'm having a field day out there. So I don't need to really chase the storms. I catch them.
Well, and with this new solar opportunity.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm so excited. Like I told you, I did it 7 years ago, but I had a bad installation company.
Uh-huh.
So I got out. I said, that's enough. I'm not going to do this no more.
Uh-huh. And so where do you see solar and how do you see it helping you hit your goals?
Man, it's a new frontier. I've always believed in it. It has nothing to do with left or right politics, just common sense. Mm-hmm. A lot of homeowners, basically our clients, need what we've got. And so it's solutions. As you run your company or as you're out there selling, you're providing solutions for your clients. So run your business as a solution-based company. It's not about the money. The money will perpetually come because you're helping people. So it's a solutions-driven. Our roof systems, insurance solutions, everything is solutions. So solar is going to be big.
And it just opens up the avenue for recruiting. The one thing about Omar is his strength to be so disciplined out there and sell and get so much out of his own production is sometimes you make so much money doing it your own way. It's like if you give up a little bit to train other people, sometimes there is a little bit of waste, but that's necessary to sometimes go backwards before you can go forward. And so our biggest focus has been setting up more time on recruit, hire, train, more time on marketing systems, more time on entrepreneur tasks. And the reality is this man's made such good money in roofing. It's not about the money anymore, is it?
No, it's not.
What's it about?
It's a way of life. It's a quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's to leave a legacy for my son and daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's also to give more.
And it's also why you stay in the program and constantly growing and showing up for calls too, right?
Of course. Years ago, I told the Lord, as long as you increase me, as long as I'm increasing, I'll be able to do more in your kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we believe in the principle of tithing. So no sooner, this is no joke, no sooner than we pay our tithes every month and our fast offerings. In the week that is done, the business flows like nobody's business.
Oh man, that's the magic.
It's automatic. It just comes perpetually. Leads come in, the referrals come in. It's just amazing how the Lord just basically, in essence, kind of just not only restores, but he just multiplies.
I think that, he's out there doing so much good in the world. He's vibrating at a certain level. He's smiling at a certain level. He's got a certain anchor to his thoughts. They become real because he's doing so much good in the world. Now, this man is also, if you work alongside of him, one of the hardest nosed grinding worker in the business. I'm talking about hours. What do you do when you're hustling and when it's hot, when it's and it's Texas and it's 110 degrees up there? What are you doing?
Man, just make sure you got enough water in that cooler. That's all.
That's all.
I'm hitting the streets. I'm enjoying it. And so it's great, man. I don't mind it.
You don't mind it. And so, even the CEO of Titan sat here and he said, I did not get where I was at without installing the solar panels and doing it all myself from the ground up. And now whenever I'm holding the people accountable, because I know how much it takes to the little bitty details, it's really made a difference of who we are and what we've become. And so that's why if y'all want to grow a massive sales team, there's a dichotomy where you can't build it, you can't draw from an empty well, okay? You ain't going to be able to create a duplicate of yourself as a multi-million-dollar producer if you can't do it for yourself first. Now, where he's at, he needs to let more go. And it's hard. It's hard to let go. That's the biggest challenge, because sometimes you let go, you invest in the time. We had like 4 or 5 good recruits, and they kind of cycled through, and that'll wear on you a little bit. What happens when they cycle through?
I mean, you kind of feel a little bit, disappointed.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you got to constantly recruit. And so, in this business, people are going to come and go. And, there's a tendency for us owners, well, the guy's going to leave anyways. He's going to leave sometime. But you got to constantly recruit. So if you lose some good guys, it is what it is. May the Lord bless them. If I want the Lord to bless them, So at the end of the day, no hard feelings, because at the end of the day, I'm a personal producer. But I'm constantly recruiting new people. That's why I brought in these new guys coming in. So if they leave, guess what? I'm still doing my 300 or 400.
That's it. So what's your I know you get a lot of referrals. I'm trying to think about Omar's secret game, but I swear you've heard it. He works really hard. He has incredible optimism. He's incredibly positive. His smile when he goes to the doorstep, when he's talking, it's just infectious. And he overcomes kind of people's disbelief with this sort of disarming influence. Then you start getting referrals. So what do you do to get these? How many referrals you average per deal?
Each one will probably bring me between 5 to 10.
What?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I have all family and friends.
Yeah.
And I ask for the leads.
Oh, yeah. How do you do it?
Got to ask for them.
Yeah,
and
I know.
So, they all, and then they've got their neighbors. So at the end of the day, they all talk to one another. Mm-hmm. So the leads do come. And so you just got to ask for them.
Mm-hmm. And so what has been what has been your biggest challenge in implementing my system?
It's just like you said, you get focused on one thing and then you lose sight of the other. At the end of the day, you've got a lot of individuals in key positions, and that's what my wife and I are getting ready to do.
Yeah, I see it too.
Once I hire the right people in key positions, then it'll start growing somewhere.
The one thing that happens as soon as you have that, then all of a sudden your payroll is a lot higher and your stress level goes up, and there is a dichotomy to that too. The other side of that, you start be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I'm so proud of you, bro. You're doing amazing. You continue to add just incredible energy. And look, this man has really made me better. His optimism, his view on life. I mean, I'm not a member of the Church of Latter-day Saints, but I have a lot of learning from his perspective. And, the reality is that we're both brothers in Christ. We're both trying to help people, and we're both trying to make a lot of money, okay? And nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with that. And we're lifting each other up. And inside of, when you see this as undisputed best mastermind, what that means is we're making everybody better, not just money, okay? We talking about physically, mentally, spiritually, about giving back in the community, and about helping build legacy, long-lasting businesses, and not just fugazi. Testimonials because people want to get on stage, or testimonials because people want to do this or that. Omar's been around for 3 years almost.
Well, in your system, yeah.
About 3 years.
Yeah, and about 9 years in business.
And before you got in my system, you'd seen around a little bit.
I was with another, you know who it is.
Yeah.
And then basically I switched over to you.
Yeah, and listen, I say try all the programs out if you need to. Yep. If you know that we got the right solution, then you gotta be careful going 100 different directions, because it can be like the analogy I used earlier. You're a sailboat without a rudder. Every time the wind blows, somebody from one booth and then another booth and then another booth, everyone's blowing you in different directions. But what is the validity of their system? What is the validity of their results? What have they got for themselves? What have they got for other people? And then, I think guys like Omar, and tell them about your podcast. Like, because I'll look at his podcast. His podcast organically will get like 400 views a day on my YouTube. Has anyone ever called you from that?
Yes, they have actually.
And
some of my highest.
You did?
Yeah.
You saw the podcast.
Yeah. And
you were like, I want to work with that guy. Because
right.
his essence came out through that podcast. And man, I'm going to tell you, it only takes one person. It only takes, that guy could be the life-changing transformation in his business.
Well, check this out. Will, I brought him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Will has already given me 4 others.
Yeah.
That are coming on board.
Yeah.
And then 38 more.
Let me tell you something. He has such a, you don't realize, because he's financially secure, because he has such a good local business, because he's got us in this system. And what we can do with roofing and solar, plus all of his old roofing clients, with y'all, dude, this is fucking gold mine. I mean, for real. And it's funny that not everyone sees it, but I know, and y'all know, that's good. Nice.
Yep, they already.
Nice. Hell yeah. Absolutely, man. And especially with the solar, being that the solar dollars are worth a lot more. And, you know, Baton Rouge back there, man, they're getting a lot of roofs bought from Idaho. And Baton Rouge, we're going to expand into Baton Rouge. And you're going to look at areas that you think aren't wind damaged, but people will be getting roofs there for years. And, you know, Solar Titan is finalizing everything in Louisiana. And so we'll be able to install right there in your home market. You know, I'm looking at Baton Rouge and New Orleans as 4-5 years. 2 years of hot and heavy, but 2 or 3 years, dude, we're still doing more volume. We're still doing big time in Naples 4 years after the storm. That was there's a lot. There's a lot. So plenty of potential, man. Omar, it's been great, brother. Thanks for being here, man. I think this is a good one to wrap it up with for the day, guys. We're going to get this kick-started tomorrow. We're going to be playing a little game, Roof for Gories. The bar will be back open, free drinks to ask questions. Guys, if you want to be involved in our elite program, if you want to help double, triple sales, what we do is we help you generate leads through Facebook. So we help manage we've managed his Facebook and Google for 3 years. If he wants to spend money,
Eventually, I hired my own marketer that's in-house now, a young college kid. And so he's very talented. So, he's getting familiarized with SDU Hub, and he's been with Hansel and them learning the process. So.
The other thing is the recruiting. We help you set up the recruiting campaigns. We help you build out a recruiting funnel, and get you kind of. The biggest thing about Omar is we got to get that one person in charge of recruiting.
Yeah. Because
it can't be him, and it can't be someone that's an office girl. Mm-hmm. It needs to be someone like one of y'all or someone like Brandon. That would be constantly incentivized, and he needs to make like an override on the red line. And he needs, anyways, we'll go how to execute that, but it's the most important position. Someone has to be doing that all the time because everything else is there. And other than that, our weekly coaching calls is like our church. We all get together. Usually I go for 2 hours on a Zoom call. I answer questions. I go through a lesson, and we hear from everybody about their challenges. We answer their questions, and then a lot of times, it might be a review. It might be something that he's heard 10 times.
Repetition is good.
It is good, because sometimes he needs to hear it 10 times, because he still needs to work on that one aspect. Sometimes he needs to see someone else do it and get the results and see, oh, wow, that roofer did it. And that's the benefit of us having, there's something in mixed martial arts. Frank Shamrock, he says, hey, you need to have 3 different people that you're learning from in mixed martial arts. You need to have somebody that you can beat up, that you're teaching. Like, hey, do this, you won't get beat up so bad, okay? But you're teaching them information. You're further along in the journey, and by teaching, you're understanding the concepts better. There needs to be somebody you're competing with that's just as good as you, that might beat you, that's 50-50, and then you push each other because of how maybe you take one thing that he does well, but it's more of a competition learning. You're learning from someone on equal playing grounds. And then you also need to learn from someone who can smash you in the gym. that can just punish you at will. And you got to be afraid, you got to be okay with, saying, hey, I'm doing this for learning, and I'm okay with getting beat, and I'm checking my ego at the door, and I don't have to be the best. But it's learning from mentors. It's learning from the people you compete with. It's learning from the people that you mentor. And if you want to multiply that, you want to get lucky in life, if the more people that you're doing in each department, dude, here's the thing. I'm competing with almost everyone in this room. I offer fucking coaching, I offer roofing, I offer marketing, I offer recruiting, I offer software. That's damn near every damn coach, company, salesperson, person running the conference. No wonder I'm the most hated person in this room. All right? Look, man, I also mentor a lot of people for free. And on YouTube and podcasts and all this other stuff. And my relationship with Omar, I have a lot of different contractors. Omar is definitely a leader in our community, but our community, it pushes me to be the best version of myself because I'm constantly having to be the rock. I have to be the example. I have to live right, and I have to think about everything I do. Is Omar going to be disappointed by that? Is he going to look at what I did and say that doesn't align with my values? And in reality, that holds me to a higher standard, which is good for me. And then the next thing is like, making my system work so that it'll work for you. That's where I had to simplify it. I had to make it so good. And just that it worked for me wasn't like in the beginning, I'd be like, okay, go on social media like me, recruit like me, call recruits like me, go door to door like me, chase storms like me. And everybody like, well, Lee, I want to stay at home. I'm not good at all these things. I had to figure it out. The video ads on social media was a complete game changer. The ability for me to get any roofer a brand and leads, and the ability to buy roofs for $500 a lead, and the fact that we split tested $5 million in ads and generated more than 9 figures in results. Game changer. I can help retail roofers just as much as I help insurance. Some of my best clients are retail roofers. One went from $2 million to $8 million to $18 million without knocking a door or running a damn insurance claim. Just off of the leads and salespeople we recruited in New Hampshire. Okay, he ain't the only one either. I got a lot of retail studs. All right, and so why? Because it takes more leads and more salespeople to grow a roofing company. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. If anyone wants to complicate stuff, well, how many leads and salespeople can you get me? How many leads and salespeople have you gotten for people? How many leads and salespeople you get for yourself? That's how you should qualify if these people could help you or not. Come on, man. Let me tell you something. Simple. It's that simple. And I like to be challenged. I like the people to come up. I like for Kobe Bryant to come along to Michael Jordan because it might push Michael. I appreciate that. That's why I put myself in uncomfortable positions. That was 2 days ago. I thought, man, you might get your ass kicked, beat up in front of your mom and knocked out. You might be crippled and be stupid so that you can't even talk and do your stupid podcast you spent $50,000 on. But screw it. You know why? Because that was my opportunity, because it lined up. And if I didn't do it, then it was going to be me basically being afraid. And because I checked that off my bucket list mentally for me, it just helped me say, okay, no matter how big you get, no matter how many people come across you, you are going to be in fights for the rest of your life. People are going to say you did them wrong. People are going to sue you. Customers are going to say you ripped them off. You cannot take these shots and cry about it. You cannot take these shots and quit. You can only, if you're gonna be at the top, ain't no mercy for people at the top. There ain't no mercy. I'm on a little different kind of like.
Lee is a wild man.
Well, man.
Wild boy.
I feel like people, disciples of Jesus, people that were like, they weren't soft men.
Nah. They were tough as nails.
They were tough as nails. So I feel we have an epidemic of snowflakes.
Too many.
Huh?
Too many snowflakes
Too many snowflakes. I want to talk about it, I want to be about it. That ain't me, guys. That ain't me.
That's what I like about Lee, man. He puts his, money where his mouth is, or the other way around, whatever it is.
I put whatever it is, whether it's my money or my face.
And that's why when I got him with him from the get-go, I think when he started all this was really about 3 years ago, right? Mm-hmm.
First thing Omar said, man, Lee, you can't go fight in a cage. You can't get beat up. You need to lead us. What happens if you get a head trauma? I said, Omar, I got to do it.
Yeah, well, the law's been protecting you, so just
And you
make
know
sure
what?
you
It
stay
worked
alive
out.
for your
It
wife
worked
and
out.
kids.
I went. The way it worked out, you know, is believe it or not, some of my best meditations and time with God are after I wear myself out in the gym. I'm taking a shower. I'm completely separated away from all the people or bills or problems. And sometimes it takes that high intensity for me to get rid of all the negative energy so I can be as positive as Omar. And maybe it's because he's been living a better life for a lot longer and knows and has all of it figured out better than me. I don't know why, but
Well, you have the knowledge that you have in your field, and then I have the knowledge that I have in my field.
yeah.
Because I've been doing it a little longer on the spiritual side. But at the end of the day, we all complement each other. when
That's
it's all
called a
said and done.
mastermind, guys. That's the power of two men's mind. Okay? When two men or women put their minds together, they take the best of all the minds. And this is a mastermind. Okay? This ain't a conference. This ain't a marketing company. This ain't a sales training company. Okay? This is a group of people. They're dedicated to be their best versions of themselves. And if you want help, doubling sales, tripling sales, it's only going to help you help more people, make a bigger impact on your community, have more time to be a better father, son, whatever. And, you know, if you want to grow, we want to have you in the elite program. We can get you funding if you need it. There's a lot of different ways that you can get in. If you need help with leads, recruits, you want to grow, the thing is the question you need to ask yourself is, Lee, in 12 months, can you help me sell 30 jobs? I'm going to ask you, Omar, did I help you sell 30 jobs?
Of course.
Of course. But at 30 jobs, if Omar sells the jobs and they're $20,000 a job, that's $600,000 in sales. Now, he sells some of them on his own, and he sells at a high margin. So he's at least making $250,000 off of that, you know? So even
My margins are sick.
if he sends a salesman out to do it, he's making $120,000 off of 30 jobs. So you pay for all this with 30 jobs, plus you get this. See, I hope y'all know the magic here. The magic is why I like having this whole thing. The magic ain't me. It's a spiritual thing. It is. And it's because, guys, sometimes, you know, we look at business as this is who we are. This is the only thing that I am, is my business. But man, I tell you what, that is so far from the truth. We are so much more than just making money and so much more than just our business. And so I will tell you, this mastermind has given me purpose. It's given me happiness. It's made me more excited about my job. You know, not only has it helped my company grow, helping other people that are in different stages, even doing less volume from me. I learned from them. How much money has he helped me make just by being a better person? Who knows? But the big value is, do you want to be a part of it? And can I help you pay for it with 30 jobs?
I mean, if you have not joined the team yet, definitely you got to reconsider. The system works. And I've put it into work, and it's worked for me and my guys.
Okay, so if you feel the Holy Ghost, come on up here. Come on to the front of the room, and let's get this thing going. Here's the deal.
My partner was this, man. Your future is bright as your future is bright as your faith. You know, you have to have an eye of faith.
And I'm gonna say this.
And look forward.
Faith without works is dead. So if you believe you can do it, you got to vote on yourself. Great day. Give him a round of applause.
Appreciate it, brother.